So now we're ready to start our next square. This is going to be the ending left to right square. It'll always be the same. And so you start off with just your one stitch that you have left over from your previous square, whichever it was. In the future, you're going to have many more squares, so you'll have one left and just this right edge. So you might have more fabric over here that you've already knit, but your edge will have this one remaining square here, and then you'll need to make that one edge on the right. I have cast on 19 stitches, and then I turn my work around just like this, and I knit those stitches all the way back. I placed a marker, and then I purled that original stitch that was left over from the end of our last miter. All right, so now we're ready. What we're going to do is we're going to pick up purl-wise stitches along the edge of this square. The reason that we're picking up purl-wise is when you pick up stitches, it creates like a purl ridge on the back of the fabric if you're picking them up knitwise. And in this case, because this is our wrong side, I want that ridge to be on this side of the fabric. And if I pick up the stitches knitwise, it'll be on this side. And I want nice smooth edges on the front of my shawl. So in order to pick it up purl-wise, you need to hold the yarn at the back of the work, insert the needle from the back to the front, and then pull that stitch through. And I will tell you, I find this difficult. I really struggle doing this. So what you can do if you're struggling a little bit like me is you can get out your other needle and use that other needle to pick up the yarn that you want to use to pick up your stitch. And it just kind of helps me to pick those up. So I know I want to pick it up right here. I'm just going to use my needle to pick up that stitch purl-wise. And I can do that all the way across. I'm going to do it 19 times. And again, I'm just picking up a little bit. Oops, I want a little more than that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but try to be consistent in the area that you pick up the stitch. And I'm just pulling it from the back of the, well, in this case, from the front of the work to the back of the work, so that that ridge, see that ridge that starts to form as you're picking up those stitches? I want that to stay here on the back of my work. I really don't want that on the front of my work. And if you are getting a little bit confused as to what is the back of the work and what is the front of the work, one good way to tell is that when you're making these miters, you're going to end up with this little ridge where you've made the miter. And so if you're getting confused, you can look for that little ridge to tell you what is the front and what is the back. So in this case, there's no ridge here in the middle of the work, so we know that this is the back. This is the wrong side. So I'm just going to continue, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up 19 all the way along this edge. All right, I've got all my stitches picked up. They're knitwise, so if you look really closely and you pull it, you really don't see a ridge right here. It'll be a nice smooth join when you're picking those up purl-wise from the wrong side. So I've got these stitches that we cast on and then knit back. We purled that first stitch, and then we picked up purl-wise these 19 stitches so that when we turned it over, it's a nice smooth join. And now we're just going to make our miter the same way that we did here. We're going to be knitting up to 2 stitches before this, doing that central double decrease, removing and then placing back that marker, knit to the end, and then just keep on doing that all the way until you have that final mitered square on the right hand side, and it's going to look just like this.